Hi, everyone. Welcome to Social. I'm Christine Gritman. I do this show live every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time with a special guest where we talk about social media, among other things. And this week, my special guest is Maggie. Yay, Maggie. Hi. So for those of you who don't know, what Maggie does is she is a jewelry designer, first of all, for Alice and Chains Jewelry. Alice and Chains, not in chains. And she also created the River Towns Chamber of Commerce, of which I am a proud member. And she does all sorts of great stuff. So welcome, Maggie.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Maggie, I would like, of course, because what I do is social media and onlineness, to talk about, we were talking before we went live about how you use social media, of course, digital presence is important, but you don't just use social media as a tool to put things out there. It's one of the many ways in which you interact in real life as well, including the fact that you do some stuff with some Westchester County mom blogs.
Yeah, I do.
And stuff like that.
I'm a contributing writer for the Westchester County Moms blog. And every now and then I will do Takeover Tuesday on Instagram. So I take over their Instagram account and their followers get to follow me in my day.
I love that. So let's start with Instagram, actually, while we're talking about online stuff, because as a jewelry designer, that's sort of a second online store for you in a way. So can we talk about how you have used Instagram in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So Instagram is amazing for kind of a creative person because it's very visual based. So you don't have to put a lot of intentional writing and thought into your writing for it. You can just really concentrate on the content of your photo and make it visually appealing and interesting to your audience. And that helps because it kind of, with jewelry, you can see how I would wear something or what it looks like on my hand or how big is it or how small is it, which are all important things with jewelry.
And that's one of the really nice things about your online presence as well. It's you. You're not afraid of getting out there as the face of the company, which I think makes a big difference because you're someone people can connect with.
I agree, but I also think that being a small business owner, that it's important to be the face of your company because then when you are out in your community, people are like, oh, hey, I saw you on Instagram. I know you, so it just kind of brings the realness of who you are as a person into, social media.
Yes, that is hugely important because anything you can do to really bring the online into real life or vice versa is going to be hugely beneficial for your company. So on Instagram, by the way, just before we get off the topic of specifically your online Instagram for your jewelry business, you also sell with some of your posts. And you're one of the first people I follow who was a small brand who I actually saw doing that. I've used you as an example for clients before, just so you know. So can we talk about that? How has that been working for you?
It works great. It really drives traffic to my website. So people don't necessarily have to go to my profile to click on the link and go to my website. Now they can just see the photo. And if I'm wearing, let's say, these earrings and this ring in the photo, there'll be a little dot. And they can just click on that dot and it takes them directly to the product page. And hopefully then they'll go peruse around my website and check out other stuff that I'm doing.
I love that. And you do that through Shopify, right?
Through Shopify, yes.
And it just connects to your existing online store that you already have on your website?
Yep. It's easy. Super easy.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
have you seen particular things on Instagram work better for you than others?
Yes. So people love when I do song lyrics as my captions. Funniest, silliest thing. I'm constantly in my own studio listening to music. So for me, music very much drives the mood and what I'm doing. And so sometimes you see that pop up in my Instagram and people are like, oh my gosh, that song the other day, I haven't heard it in forever when you put that on there. So it's funny and interesting. But,
do you ever quote Alice in Chains on Alice and Chains?
I have not. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of Alice in Wonderland. It's cute.
I like that. So now moving on to, you mentioned how people see you online and then they see you in real life and you're like, oh, that's that person. You
Yeah.
do a lot in real life, including bringing other small business owners together as the head of the River Towns Chamber of Commerce. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be?
So I moved to Dobbs Ferry about 3 years ago, and there was not a Chamber of Commerce here. And I really wanted a way that I, as a small business owner, could connect with other business owners. So I met with like 4 or 5 other people, and we got the program started. And it eventually became very popular. We rolled it out about 6 months ago, maybe September, into the River Towns Chamber of Commerce. And that really drove our connecting with other business owners, not just in the village of Dobbs Ferry, but Irvington, Hastings, Ardsley, and like yourself over in Nyack,
Yeah.
Putting the realness to who you are, even if you don't have a brick and mortar.
And now we've got a Facebook group, right, for the River Towns Chamber?
Well, we have the River Towns Chamber, and if you're a member, we actually also have a members forum for members to go on there and, let's say, ask a question. So, for example, you have a brick and mortar and somebody drives through the front of your store and they break a window. It's actually happened.
Oh my God.
And you're like, wait, how do I get my window fixed? And wow, my insurance is really expensive. So you can put a question out there and be like, hey, who do you use to fix your windows? Or who do you use to provide your insurance? Something that small business owners might need to know about. Or like, for example, today, we're having this Facebook Live event. I put that on there just so other business owners can kind of educate themselves and be like, oh, how does Maggie do it? Or how does Christine do it? It's a good way.
Absolutely. Come see, connect, support. And also with the new Facebook algorithm changes, places like groups are actually getting more organic reach than other things because it's something you've opted into. It's a community you're part of.
Great.
And by joining a group, you're saying to Facebook, yes, this is useful to me. So that's also very smart.
Yeah. It's been very beneficial. Our members love it. So.
Great. Now, what are some other things you've done online that have helped you either personally or through your business just to get out there?
So I've definitely blog writing.
Yeah, let's talk about your blog. Tell us about that.
So not just am I a contributor for Westchester County Mom's blog, but I also have 2 blogs of my own on my website. Yeah, I have one, Jewelry with a Story, where I kind of break down the jewelry that I am designing or making and put the story into it because that's kind of what my brand is about.
And that's so smart.
But then the other one that I started probably about a year ago is the Jogging Jeweler. I run a lot, and there's a lot of infrastructure issues in my community, whether it's the lack of sidewalks, broken sidewalks, blind spots, lack of crosswalks. So I started wearing a GoPro camera while I go running, and I uploaded those videos to YouTube and started writing about it and really started a conversation within our community. And now there's a whole survey being done on Route 9, and it's been great. People are like, wait, you do jewelry and you're running? And I'm running with you. Wait, are you the Jogging Jeweler? And I'm like, yeah. So blog writing has definitely helped.
I love that. And it's great because the 2 blogs that you just mentioned, telling the story of your jewelry and also doing things specifically related physically to your location,
right.
Those are both 2 really great ways to use online media as a way to focus on what really is one of your big points of value, which is you're here. The story of your jewelry is specifically why someone would buy from Alice in Chains as opposed to buying from a bigger jeweler, because it has a story and it has a person connected to it.
Right.
And the Jogging Jeweler, you're using the media that you produce to create real life change.
Right. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's been really cool. Yeah, we got a crossing light put up from the blog, so it's made a big impact in the community, which is nice.
I really like that. And now you mentioned video. What are some other ways you've used video that you've seen work or even not work?
So sometimes I will take a piece of jewelry and I will take a video of myself and I will tell the story. And I have found that that really works because then it's again, people see me holding the jewelry. They get to see how big it is, what it looks like when it's on. And they get to hear my voice. It's different than just reading words. And with Instagram, you can just do it in 60 seconds. It's not like you have to have a whole thing written out and you have to spend a lot of time on it. So it's been great. Ways that I have seen it not work is people are really not interested in how jewelry is made. I've tried to do videos.
Surprising.
Yeah, I would have thought that would have been like, oh, how is that made? No, there's no interest in that. So I don't do that anymore. So that's been something.
That is very interesting and surprising because a lot of times people say the behind the scenes is a good tack, but I guess, everyone's audience is different.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Have you been using Instagram stories at all?
Yes, I use Instagram stories a lot, almost every day. So I have a different kind of take on social media. I do Monday through Friday. I try not to do weekends because that's my family time and that's what works for my life. But Monday through Friday, you will see me blowing up Instagram stories. And I find that it's really important because up at the top of the Instagram, you've got that circle and it keeps your circle up there. And it puts your logo or your face or your brand up there, constantly visually reminding people, hey, I'm here. I'm doing something new. Come check me out.
And what sort of stuff do you do on your stories?
Everything. I do if I'm drinking a pretty drink, if I'm working out, if my daughter's doing something artistic, or if I've made cookies. It's really a sneak peek behind the scenes into my life. And I do get people, they're like, oh my God, I saw you were at Whole Foods the other day. I was there too, and I didn't even see you. So it's just, again, it's bringing reality into social media and making social media social.
And that's so huge. And that brings me to a piece that you recently wrote for a Westchester Mom blog about how social media has become decreasingly social, which is actually something that I was saying was a major focal point at Social Media Marketing World, which I just came back from, the fact that we need to bring the humanity back to social media.
Totally.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I felt the impacts of social media recently. I had some trolls on Facebook, and those trolls were relentless, and it really hit my physical, mental, emotional state hard. And so I had to take a step back and think of, well, what am I putting out there, and how much energy and time do I want to put into that? So I really pulled back on my Facebook, and I've really concentrated more on the Instagram because I felt that community was a lot more positive and visual, and it's more supportive of what I'm doing. So that's what I've done. Social media is amazing. It lets you connect with people that you normally maybe wouldn't have connected with, and it lets you stay connected with people that maybe you couldn't before. But I think that we have to be reminded all to look up from our phones and our devices and actually connect in real life with those same people. Connection is a good thing in real life.
Absolutely. And realizing that there are real people posting these things and sharing their stories, and people feel very emboldened to hide behind a screen and tear things apart. And, you just can't. But I love what you've done, which is to not say, well, this is worthless now, but to say, what elements of this have value for me, like your Instagram community, and using it to connect, to bolster and sometimes create real life connections, and what parts of it aren't working for me, like doing it on your weekend family time, for example, or Facebook. Not everyone has to be everywhere. That's one thing that's one thing that takes a lot of people out.
Yeah, you have to figure out what works for you. And also, what do you like?
Yes.
Whatever you like, you're going to be more drawn towards, and more than likely that's your target audience as well.
Exactly. And that's such an important message. A lot of people are daunted by social media because they feel like they have to be everywhere. And they feel like if they sign up for being on social media, they have to be there all the time. And no, you can put healthy parameters around it. And if what you are sticking with is of value and it's the right stuff in the right place for the right people, stick with that.
Yeah. You totally have to stick to your own kind of code as a human being, even on social media. You know, there will be people out there who do not do that, and that's okay. They can choose to do that, but you don't have to interact with them.
I love that. I'm so sorry you had to deal with trolls. I mean, who's trolling someone who's doing as much good as you're doing? That's so obnoxious. But I love what you've come to with it. You've come to a very good place with it, and I think that's great, and I look forward to continuing to see all of your stuff. The Jogging Jeweler doesn't have social media platforms, does it? Is it just
I just have a Facebook page for it because I kind of cross-promote it on my other pages, and it's very kind of hyper-specific to our area, so you'll feel like you would have a large following if it were to have, like, let's say, its own Twitter feed or Instagram account. So it makes its show on Alice in Chains on Instagram and Facebook.
Nice. All right. Well, everyone be sure to follow Alice in Chains, and I'm going to put that on there on the screen here, Alice in Chains Jewelry, so that everyone knows. There's an and in there, people.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've also got the Rivertowns Chamber of Commerce and the Jogging Jeweler. Any final thoughts? For social media?
For social media, do you. You know, that's what I feel like. It's real. And let's keep social media real. Let's not make it fake.
Yes, let's keep it real. Keep it human. You don't have to be everywhere. You just have to be where it brings value to you as a person.
And you bring it. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Amen. Well, thank you so much, Maggie. This was great. I'm glad that I had you on. Sorry we didn't meet in real life, but as people probably know, I'm not feeling very well. I don't want to give you the flu. I want to make sure you can keep going.
I appreciate it. I don't want the flu. So.
All right. Well, thanks, Maggie. And thanks, everyone who watched or who's tuning in for the after broadcast, which is most of what I get. Oh, we should talk about the workshop that we're doing.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Yeah,
so again, I am a proud member of the Rivertowns Chamber of Commerce, even though I hop over from across the river. And we were supposed to do a workshop this past Wednesday. I'm grateful to the storm because I probably would have had to postpone anyway. But yeah, so let's talk about what we're doing. When is it? The 26th, Monday?
Monday, the 26th of March, in Dobbs Ferry at Harper's on Main Street at 6 p.m., I believe. And so we're doing content building for small business owners. So it's kind of a little bit of everything that we just talked about here, right? You know, like, where do you get your content from? Whether it's for social media, your blog, your website, your email blasts.
And that's another thing people get very psyched out about. They feel like, I don't have time to do social media because I don't have time to create all that content. Right. And one of the things I'm really going to be talking about on Monday, the 26th at our workshop is the fact that you can really find moments of content in what you're already doing.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a whole separate production. You can do it. You're already doing your job. You just need to figure out how to show it and where.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So that will be
join us at Harper's on Monday, the 26th for content building.
I'm trying to write that on the thing and it's not letting me. Oh, well. Anyway, we'll link to it in the comments for sure. Thank you so much for that opportunity. Thank you so much for this interview. And thank you so much for the Rivertowns Chamber of Commerce. And literally when we log off, I'm going to officially go order that New York State necklace.
Yeah, I've actually already got it made. I should be picking it up for you today.
Oh, that's exciting. So yeah, we'll talk offline. You can let me know how to officially place my order. Very excited about that. I'll certainly be showing that off on social media and linking to you so that people know. Great. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Maggie. I'm Christine Gritman. I do this show Social live every Friday at 12 noon Eastern time, where I talk to people who are actually using social media in their businesses, like Maggie. And tune in next week.